it kind of stems from is that if you can string words together into a coherent sentence, people sort of think, okay, writing isn't that hard. So these writers, they're not doing anything particularly amazing. But I couldn't write a line of code if my life depended on it, because it would be broken and not do anything. Therefore, developers are doing something amazing that I can't criticize.
I love that sort of mentality, because do you know how many Android police applications I have read through? I would say that I have probably read somewhere between, I don't know, 500, 600. I mean, I've read so many over the past 3 years.
I have people like randomly emailing me at my personal address asking me to get them work at one site or another. And I was like, your email is written so poorly. Why would you even do this?
Somebody sent me a Facebook message.
And Facebook messages, what the fuck?
And it went
Facebook
to the other
messages
box.
that scout in the other box that nobody ever looks at.
I saw the other box like twice a year, and I'm like, oh wow, look at all this crap.
The thing is, I saw somebody mention that they were looking through theirs on Google Plus, and then I was like, I should go look at that. And I seriously,
I was just complaining about that like 3 days ago.
I had the weirdest stuff in there from like 2011, and I was like, I almost feel bad that I didn't reply to anybody, but this is such weird crap that I don't want to.
Hey Liam.
Mm-hmm.
That story that you posted a link to?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you probably have to share that with me for me to be able to see it, because like when I click on it, it takes me to my own story.
Hey, can you make sure that you're on the butt setting?
We still have some pink items in the sheet there, Cam. Can I interest you in any of those?
Who, me? What?
Can I interest you in an LG G3 story?
Again.
Ah, shit. Why the fuck not? I guess I'll just take them both.
C and M. We're going to talk about those.
It's more of a heart. It's the one you're on, the heart.
It's the upside down heart.
I think, the Twitch story we should not talk about. That's boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
I'm removing it.
I don't think it's boring.
Also, I just want to point out that we have someone on this podcast named Lima. Or maybe Lima?
That's me. That's
Lima. That's your alias?
Am I friends with you guys?
Your screen name.
AP Lima.
I'm actually surprised that you said Lima first. That's interesting to me.
Why? Lima, Peru?
Because
it looks like Lima. And I said Lima
how
first.
How is this not coming up with...
Potato, let's call the whole thing off.
Matt, are we... Oh, there you are. Okay. You weren't coming up in my circles for a second.
The assholes in the room. I'm definitely not.
Did you just say
oh my god!
All the assholes in the room.
Counting.
Okay, I just shared it.
Like the numbers
thing
that people do. So it looks like I got a message from someone in my other box about Cellsoft. So that's pretty interesting.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Cellsoft.
Oh, that was recently. Holy shit, that was yesterday. Wow, what are the odds that I actually check this right now? This happened yesterday.
I have probably 10 or 15 messages from random people in China that wanted me to write something about their batteries, which they all insist on calling power banks. I guess that's the terminology in China. And I don't know why would I do that.
You could write about one until it explodes on your thigh.
Yeah.
Just your hands on fire.
For all I know, they were in Taiwan. I guess Facebook is kind of blocked in China, I think. But whatever. They were from some Asian country, and they wanted me to write things that I don't want to write.
You guys want to start the show?
Okay, Liam, so even though you shared that with me, and even though I got a notification saying that Liam shared this thing with you, when I click on it, it still takes me to my own story.
Seriously?
So I think you might have to do the screen share on that one.
I don't know how to do that.
If you go over to the left side of your Hangout, there's a little green monitor with an arrow on it that pops up.
I didn't mean to sound so pissed off about it.
You bastard! Why do you making me do something I don't know how to do?
I keep learning new things.
I can tell this is going to be a good show because we're already really upset.
We're all pissed off about something. Oh no way! That's awesome. Thank you so much. That is my new favorite sounder. Okay, I guess I'll get this percolating in this other window over here.
Percolating.
You just used percolating.
Okay, so that's there.
I have webcam. You no see me?
Cameron, where's your webcam?
It's right here. Right there.
Scuttlefield, you're seeing Cameron. He's just so statuesque that it looks like a photo.
It's static on my end too.
Well, that's interesting because I can see myself on my end. So it's just a picture for everyone?
Oh, wait, no. I can see you at the bottom of the screen, but not actually.
But you're not moving.
For real. Yeah. You're kind of like doing the Steve Jobs number.
Shit.
I just imagine you talking in that pose.
That would be really great if we didn't notice in the whole episode everybody thought that he was just like really, really under control.
Alright, we got 2 more.
I'm just pondering the fuck out of some shit, guys.
What we got? Give him out. Let's go.
So should I leave the hangout and come back and see if it fixes it? I guess
Maybe.
I could.
If you leave, it might break.
I know. I'm afraid it won't let me back in. It'll be like, nope, sorry, you had your chance. I'm gonna try it.
Mullins is especially upset by this.
Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
There he is. He's moving.
Are you moving now?
Yeah. Can you see me this time? Yay!
He's moving.
I don't know what happened.
Can you go back into the Steve Jobs pose though?
I could. I don't even. Maybe I could.
It goes like this.
Yeah.
Just twist your fingers like so and put it like right here.
I don't even remember doing that. That's strange.
Twist your fingers like so.
Oh,
like
I was
so.
probably.
See?
Oh, maybe I was.
Liam,
like
it's so wing.
Should I like hold my iPad next to my face too, just to make sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna start the show.
Oh my God. Okay.
Somebody else.
Is everyone seeing me?
Matt's. We're gonna do kamikaze topics this week. Matt is just gonna throw out the pink topic to whoever he feels like taking it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
That sounds like fun, actually.
No, not whoever feels like taking
Well, let's see how it goes
Whoever
before
Matt
we
feels
determine
like.
whether or not
Yes.
it was fun.
Take it.
Yes.
Doesn't everybody
Oh
read
my
everything?
God. No, I have no. Oh my God.
I say let's just do it. Let's go. Let's go for it.
All right.
I want to do this.
Shut up.
You have to shout. You have to shout kamikaze topic before you hand it out though.
Quiet is required.
Yeah.
Or you can have Bob do it. Bob will probably do it in a
Start the
fun
show.
and offensive voice.
Do it in the hot sheet voice.
Topic.
Fun and
It's,
offensive voice.
it's topic roulette.
Android Police, a fun and offensive voice.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, May 22nd-ish, 2014.
It is May 22nd, Matt.
I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
And I'm the guy pressing buttons. My name is Bob Severage. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, we got a lot of carrier news this week, guys, so I think we should probably just start right off with it because nothing gets a show started on the right foot better than carrier news.
Carrier 411.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit last week because there were some rumors floating around, but it's officially official now, or something like that. AT&T is going to be buying DirecTV, of course, you know, assuming the federal government allows them to. So, what's the benefit that we think they might see from this acquisition, Ryan?
Well, primarily AT&T is probably looking for a way to stop offering their very limited UVerse cable TV. They only have that in a very small footprint in the U.S. They could transition those people to DirecTV, and then they would have all of that extra bandwidth to expand internet access. And they claim that if this is allowed to go through, they'll be able to offer internet access to 15 million additional homes. They also promise, pinky swear, that if this goes through, they will adhere to the 2010 net neutrality rules for 3 years. So after 3 years, all bets are off, and they can do whatever they want, which I think is kind of a sad state of affairs that we have to that's cited as like a good thing that they're going to agree to support net neutrality for 3 years and then do whatever they want. So I think that's the long and short of it. AT&T, they're offering, I think, almost $50 billion. So we will see if this goes through or not.
All right.
It's a lot of the monies.
It's a lot of the monies, and they got, by the way, like $19 billion in debt in the purchase. So
oh yeah.
It really kind of cost them about what, $70 billion? I mean,
almost
That's crazy.
yeah, it's a lot of billions.
Don't they
It's
want
a
any of
billion
the spectrum? Do they really just want the TV or the spectrum as well?
I don't know. Does DirecTV have a lot of spectrum? I think I might have said that they did on the show last week, but I think I had it confused with
I think
Dish.
Dish has a lot of spectrum.
Yeah, Dish has a lot of spectrum. I'm not sure about DirecTV.
I think I may have said it last week, but I didn't really know what I was talking about.
Exactly.
So let's
We
just not make any statements on it right now,
spectrums
just in
and
case none of us know what we're talking about.
I don't think we ever really know what we're talking about, honestly. I think that's what makes this show good.
And
What
we
is
have
it that we
listeners.
write about? Is it iOS? I can never remember.
It's the other one. that people
Symbian?
use.
Pronounced
Yeah,
iOS.
BlackBerry.
WebOS.
iOS. WebOS.
All right, so Verizon had some news this week regarding some fun network stuff. Starting off with a new model of LTE, XLTE, a thing that exists now. So Cameron, what is it? First of all.
Okay, so basically XLTE exists because Verizon wanted it to exist. I mean, it's not really anything that needs its own name. It's just LTE. I mean, that's exactly what it is. What they're doing is they're increasing the amount of bandwidth allowed in bigger cities that are generally congested, high traffic areas. So like New York and, I mean, just places with a lot of people where the connection may not be the best. All they're really doing is giving them more bandwidth and giving it a new name so people will be like, oh yeah, I got that XLTE, what now? I mean, seriously, it's just LTE. But what they're doing, it's just LTE only with an X. So what they've done, really what they're doing is they're allowing access to both the 700 megahertz and AWS spectrum at the same time. So, I mean, like I said, it's nothing revolutionary. There is no extra charge for this, surprisingly, because that just seems like a thing Verizon would do.
I bet if they could have figured out a way to charge for it, they would have.
Oh my God, I bet they would have too. They would have been like, well, yeah, this new XLTE. So anyway, it's only available on. I mean, it's available on actually quite a few phones, tablets, and whatnot. But I guess the good thing is for the people who don't have a supported device that live in areas where XLTE is going to be offered, which is actually a pretty large number of areas. There's a PDF with the full list in our blog post. But so with some of the devices getting pushed over to the AWS spectrum, that should open up more bandwidth. It's good for everybody, I guess, because it's going to open up more bandwidth on the 700 megahertz spectrum. But still, it's really not a thing that should have had its own name. Verizon should have been like, hey, we're making LTE better in these places, and we're doing this, and instead of trying to stroke their own ego. I thought I was going to say
For the record, Verizon knows exactly how much they're going to charge more for this, because what they're doing is they're going to cause their users to burn through their data faster. And
well, yeah, a lot of people are pointing that out too, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that argument, but sure.
Well, I can honestly say that having switched from Verizon to T-Mobile, where on Verizon I was getting about 13 down, on T-Mobile I get between 25 and 30 down, that I burn through a lot more data on T-Mobile than I did on Verizon.
I don't even think, honestly, I don't think people in XLTE areas, now I could be talking completely on my ass here, but I don't think people in XLTE areas are even going to get those kind of speeds, honestly. I could be wrong. I don't have Verizon anymore.
They might like right now, but as Verizon releases more phones that have access to AWS, I imagine it's going to become congested very quickly. But okay, so the XLTE name, I think the carriers have just decided that every time they do something to their network that they think is worth talking about, they give it a new name, because when Sprint added those extra bands, they decided it was going to be called Spark. And they even have a new little icon.
Yeah.
Maybe Verizon will have a little XLTE icon on phones. That'll be fun.
Oh my God!
And it'll spin all the time.
And like when T-Mobile and AT&T added that HSPA stuff, and they called it 4G.
Yeah, they decided it was 4G. Yeah, T-Mobile started this, and they should feel very bad about that still.
Oh my God, 4G, 3.5G. I don't even know.
All right, so we had other news in the LTE market, starting off with Verizon and voice over LTE. We finally got some dates and some information. Well, not really dates, but general timeliness of when that's going to be coming about. So, Cameron, what do we know about that?
So that's going to be available sometime in months. That's generally
months,
what they're saying. Sometime in months. Sometime in over the next few months. But to me, it seems like it's going to be really, I don't know. I don't want to say crippled, but just really, there are a lot of stipulations. Like you have to have a phone that supports it, and you have to. Whoever you are calling also has to have a phone that supports it, and they have to be in an area with Volt. And I'm not calling it voice over LTE. I'm going to call it Volt because it sounds better.
That's why. Sure, that's why they chose the acronym.
It's like Nolte, except it's Volti.
Volti. So Volti. Yeah. So it's not. It doesn't work between carriers. So when other carriers get Volti, it will not. You can't call them if you're on Verizon and call someone on AT&T and still get high quality, HD voice. No, I mean it's Verizon to Verizon only, and only to people who are in areas where Volt is going to be offered. So
I think that'll work later, though. I think the idea of Volt is that it'll be a standard for voice eventually, but I don't know. That might be a while, or it might be wrong completely. It might be another thing.
But again, this is one of those things where it's right now it's unclear whether Verizon's going to try to charge people for this or.
I think they would have bad luck with that, since nobody really wants to make voice calls.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, if this is the way that the industry is going, if we're all going to Volt eventually, that's going to be something you can't really charge for because
I would actually be happy to take a discount for lower quality voice calls if I could do that. I would be down.
No, it's going to be one of those things like, if you go to like a burger place and be like, let me get my burger with no lettuce and tomato, they still charge you the same price. But if you're like, and add cheese, they're like, 50 cents more. It's just like that. They'll be like, we'll be glad to give you shitty voice calls, but you're still paying the same price.
We should start to refer to Volt as the cheeseburger network.
Oh, the cheeseburger, the voice-over cheeseburger.
Voice-over cheeseburger. The voice-over cheeseburger standard.
That totally works on almost no levels.
Hey, almost no levels.
Almost.
So there's someone out there.
Dark humor's hitting on all cylinders tonight.
All right, so T-Mobile also stepping into the Volti game with limited availability coming soon to a limited number of devices, right, Cam?
In Seattle. Available on the G Flex, Galaxy Light, and Note 3. What the hell is a Galaxy Light even? What? I mean, really? What is it? What is the Galaxy Light? Please tell me more about this.
Heavy.
Tell me more about this Galaxy Light. So
seriously though, far away.
Yeah. So Seattle's getting T-Mobile's Volti, only available on those 3 phones. So good luck.
Not 3 brands, 3 phones.
Just 3 phones.
3 phones.
Rumors.
Rumor roundup.
It's time for the rumor roundup.
That was a nice little bonus to the sounder there. Awesome. All right, so EV leaks, of course. We could probably just start calling this portion of the show the EV leaks portion of the show. I mean, anyways, there's a new post from EV leaks this week regarding an HTC One M8 Prime. So apparently they're heading into the super flagship market that apparently Samsung is heading into as well. So Ryan, what do we kind of know or suspect that we know about the M8 Prime? Anything new and exciting?
So what we've heard is that it will be a little bit larger. It'll be a 5.5-inch screen, but it will be 1440p, so it'll be a substantially higher resolution, about where we're hearing the G3 will be, and it'll have a Snapdragon 805 processor and 3 gigs of RAM. And there's a full 360-degree rotating GIF picture of it on the site you can go and look at. For some reason, it has a giant orange ring around the camera on the back. I have no idea why. It looks ridiculous. But otherwise, I think it looks like a fine device. I think I might like it a little bit more than the regular M8. So this is probably going to be positioned as a successor to the One Max, but that phone came out a lot later in the product cycle of the M7. I mean, this is coming out 2.5 months after the M8 did, which I think is probably going to upset people that bought the M8. But I guess, we'll find out soon, I think. I guess it's rumored to be showing up in the not-too-distant future.
All right, so we also had some leaked information about the upcoming Galaxy S5 Active, which, I don't know, it seems like when they made the waterproof, or I should say water-resistant Galaxy S5, there was some question about whether or not there was going to be an active variant this time around, but looks like we have an answer to that question right now, right, Ryan?
Yes, there are a number of videos now on YouTube showing what is pretty undeniably an S5 Active. It says it on the splash screen when it starts up, and it definitely has a slightly different design. Like the Active last year, it has physical buttons on the front instead of the physical home and capacitive buttons that other Samsung devices have. The guy that made the video seemed convinced that it was higher than 1080p resolution, but some of the benchmarking things that he ran just said that it was 1080p, so I think he's probably wrong about that. It might be LCD, maybe that's why he thought it looked different. But it looks pretty chunky by comparison. So maybe their angle with this one is going to be that it's water and dust resistant like the regular S5, but also it is drop resistant to some degree. I mean, the alternative is that maybe it's in some sort of stealth case that hides the lines of the phone, but I don't really know why they would bother to do that with this, just the active variant of the phone. But it has AT&T branding, so it'll probably be announced in the not too distant future as well.
Sweet. All right, so the next new feature of the podcast, Kamikaze Topics. So we've got the story on the site this week regarding Samsung making a VR headset that you could plug into phones, probably only Samsung phones because that's the way they roll. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that from Cameron.
I knew you were going to say me. I knew it. Yeah, so basically this is Samsung's take on the Oculus Rift, and mostly it's because Samsung likes to make everything. And if they see that there's some sort of market or some sort of product that has, someone has invented or is making and they don't have something similar, they absolutely have to be involved and make something similar to it. So there's really, there are like no details about it. It's a thing that could exist and probably will because Samsung makes some really weird shit, so why not this too?
I think they should call it the Samsung Galaxy Geordie LaForge.
I was kind of going for the Samsung Galaxy weird shit, but okay, yours works too. It probably makes more sense.
All right, so moving on to Motorola. So there's this little contest that they're doing about people getting to design things for the upcoming Moto 360, but the real interesting part about this wasn't necessarily the contest, which, hey, contests are cool, you can win free stuff, but there might have been something a little bit hidden in the terms of the contest that was a little bit more interesting probably to most of our listeners, right, Ryan?
Yeah, so if you were meticulous enough to actually dig into the terms of the contest you were entering, which very few people do, down at the bottom it explains what the prizes are valued at, because whoever wins gets a Moto 360. And so lawyers being lawyers, they require the forms to estimate the value of the prize. And in this case, for the Moto 360, the document said that it was worth $249. So that is kind of in the vicinity of what we were thinking about price-wise for this device, but of course that doesn't mean it will actually sell for that. I mean, I think that sounds reasonable. I mean, I was thinking maybe like $299, but I mean that's based purely on my speculation. So we'll have to wait and see if they actually, sell it for $249. I think that would be a pretty good price. They would be stupid not to because people were really excited about that story. They would probably sell a boatload of them. But if you just can't stop thinking about the Moto 360 right now, you can go to the contest page on Google Plus and just look at all the really just terrible designs that people are posting. I mean, some of them are just fine, but a lot of them are just bad.
Oh man, there's some real gems on there. There really are. Like some just, oh god, I love to hate them.
Yeah, I posted a gallery of some of the real bad ones on my Google Plus because they were just, they're so bad. I mean, it's nice that people are trying. It's good that everyone's excited, but man.
Yeah, don't give up on your dreams, kids. Keep trying. Keep working hard.
Yeah, don't let anyone tell you can't do what you want to do with your life. You just might be bad at it, which is fine. Those are two completely different things.
Yeah, exactly. Like take me for example. I do what I want to do, and I suck at it. So just use me as your inspiration.
Yeah, we always talk about that in the chat room, how bad Cameron is at everything.
I'm really glad.
All right, so moving on to
the
the LG G3, the worst kept secret in all of phones. So yeah,
Phonedom.
All of phonedom, all of creation, actually. So the LG G3, we've seen just about every detail of it leak out up to this point. And if you were unsure about any of them, some slides leaked out this week that probably confirmed whatever questions you had left. So at this point in time, I'm not really sure that there's any point in having an announcement. Is there, Cam?
No, there is not. So we've seen it, oh God, numerous times. And now, essentially, thanks to some Korean slides, we've basically got all the specs. So it's looking like a Snapdragon 801, 3 gigabytes of RAM, a 5.5-inch quad HD display, a 3,000 milliamp hour removable battery, which is pretty interesting, 13 megapixel rear camera, blah, 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 32 gigabytes of internal storage with no mention of an SD card slot, so maybe, maybe not. Of course, it's going to be running KitKat. There's going to be a few different colors. I mean, that's basically the whole thing there. And it's pretty big. That's a thing that it's going to be, is big. But actually, we have a mock-up on the site of comparing it to the S5 and the M8 because even the exact dimensions of the device were leaked. So Liam actually did a mock-up of it. And it looks wider than the S5 and the M8, but it's really, I mean, it's about the same size as far as height is concerned as the M8 and a little bit bigger than the S5. So it doesn't look like it's unreasonably huge, but to me, I don't know, a 5.5-inch display is just too damn big, but whatever.
Yeah, I have to say, after using the G Flex for several weeks and switching back to the Nexus 5, it feels so much better in the hand, just a 5-inch screen. Just
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
better.
That's I know. I mean, a 5.5. I guess it's great if you have like, I don't know, LeBron James sized hands, but no, not for me. It's just too big. 5 inches for a phone is as large as I can go.
All right, so that wasn't the only kind of interesting bit of information regarding the G3. We also got some screenshots of the upcoming Quick Circle case and the also some pictures of what the information that's going to look like that's presented through that Quick Circle case. So Liam, what is the Quick Circle case? Obviously, this is pretty similar to the Quick View and the window cases we've seen before, but it's got to be different in some way, right?
Right, so this is LG's version of Samsung's window case. It's just your average flip case, but with a special circular window that will allow you to answer the phone or control music or align sunlight perfectly with your nose on camera.
I wondered. Notice that.
Yeah, but the screenshot showed icons for like settings, music, and a bunch of other stuff that, frankly, I don't know how good the experience can be if you're manipulating the screen through this tiny circle, and flip cases just seem like a terrible idea to me personally. But there you have it. flip case with a circle window that does way too much stuff.
So did the G2 have an accessory like that, or is this the first time LG has done this?
I don't think the G2 had one.
Because
No,
like
that's
this, I mean that like it's not that like the idea makes sense in general, but it makes more sense if you're going to have an AMOLED screen, because then just a little bit of it is on, so it's not really killing your battery. But doing that with an LCD, I feel like wouldn't be a very good idea. So I don't know if maybe LG is going to move to AMOLED for its flagship. That would be odd.
Man, a
Maybe
quarter.
There was a quick window cover for the LG G2 that had a portrait window, like a portrait-oriented window.
Okay.
And it looks like they pretty much tried to do all of the exact same things with that they're trying to do with this new one.
Okay. So it's just a bad idea.
Yeah.
They saw the Moto 360 and they were like, "Holy shit, guys! People like circles. Let's do something with that."
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, though, it completely looks like Android Wear on the front of it. It's like they saw the renders of Android Wear and they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to put that on our phone because.
But then they're making the square Android Wear device.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Brilliant.
they already knew about Android Wear, so that would be easy. But anyway.
They went to the meeting with Motorola when Google talked about Android Wear, and they're like, and you'll be able to do round screens. And the Motorola guy was like, dibs. And the LG guy,
LG was like, "Shit, always."
All right, let's move on to Android at ARMS.
ARMS.
Android at ARMS. That was interpretive dance by Bob, so you can send him your comments after the show. If you enjoyed it, if it made you laugh, it made you cry, anything. All right, so Google and Apple, of course, have been longtime bitter enemies in the patent wars, but
Patent Oswald?
Patent Oswald wars, yes, exactly. There's some hope that might be coming to an end or already over. Pretty out of the blue, right, Ryan?
Yeah, so they announced a few days ago that both companies are withdrawing from about 20 lawsuits that are ongoing in the U.S. and Germany. Most of these have to do with Motorola, because Motorola was mixing it up with Apple before Google even bought them. But now that Motorola is being sold off to Lenovo, maybe they're less of an appealing target for Apple because they're no longer connected to Google. And so both companies are just sort of walking away from all these cases. And they also said that they will, in some way, they didn't explain how, they will work toward reforming the patent system. This does not mean that all the Android lawsuits are over, because other OEMs, of course, are still dealing with Apple. And there is a consortium, the Rockstar Consortium, that has nothing to do with Rockstars, that is partially owned by Apple. That's the group that bought the Nortel patents in 2011. And the cases related to that against Google over Android are still ongoing. Apple doesn't have the ability to just end that, because it's all other members of the group include Microsoft, BlackBerry, and Sony. So that's the state of things. Hopefully fewer patent lawsuits, but there will still be patent lawsuits.
All right, let's move on to Code Google. All right, so we've talked about it quite a bit on the show in the past regarding Android Silver and what it means for the Nexus program. And this week, EV-Leaks gave us a little bit of insight that it got from somewhere, a little bird, something along those lines, that we may very well have an Android Silver program. It may very well be coming in February of 2015, and it may very well spell the end of Nexus phones. So is there anything else interesting we know about this, Liam?
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
But by the way, that was a kamikaze story, in case anyone was wondering.
You didn't even
This
announce
is
the
another
kamikaze
kamikaze
strike.
topic, and I just picked the person who looked like they were paying the least attention.
I was so hoping you were going to pick me on this one. Okay, so EVLeaks says that Android Silver is coming circa February 2015. The first device of which is supposed to be an LG device running, I believe, the MSM 8994 processor. And he says that there's no Nexus 6, which is interesting because I'm not prepared to believe that the Nexus line is going away just yet.
Yeah, and in a subsequent tweet, he said it's the successor to the Nexus 6 initiative, which is very strange phrasing. I'm not sure what exactly is going on.
So I don't actually know what that means, but I am thinking that the Nexus line will still be around even with Android Silver, because to me, the Nexus line still has a purpose, right? And I think that basically Android Silver is going to be a pumped-up marketing version of Google Play Edition. Like, they're going to actually put marketing behind it and train people to actually sell them, rather than just kind of plopping them onto the Play Store and saying, here they are, you know?
Yeah,
but the question is, the question, I mean, to me, the question that this raises, okay, I mean, in the current state, all the Google Play Edition phones are basically the same price as their, the same retail price as their off-contract counterparts. So with Android Silver, are we still going to be looking at $600, $650, $700 phones, and without the Nexus line, is there going to be an affordable replacement?
I mean, if they're sold in carrier stores, I have to assume that you would get the same kind of deals you would get for any other phone.
Still subsidize them.
They were selling.
But I don't
they would
want
subsidize
carrier
installment plans or whatever.
Personally.
But I mean, the thing about Nexus phones is that I don't think they can completely end that kind of device because they use that to develop Android.
Right.
So I mean, I think at the very least, something like the Nexus, sort of like the preferred Google device, will continue to live on as part of Android Silver, maybe. But I mean, maybe that's where all this confusion is coming from, is that like Nexus isn't going to be like a thing all on its own, but it might be a thing within Android Silver.
Yeah,
I think that there's not going to be a Nexus because they're going to call it the Nexus 5 2015.
No, yeah, that's the other thing. Is like maybe there's no Nexus 6 because it's just going to be another Nexus 5.
The new Nexus 5.
They're actually measuring the screen. They were just lucky the last two Nexuses were about were 4 and 5 inches about, and they were the 4th and 5th Nexuses.
Yes, I think honestly, when the Nexus 4 came about, that it was probably just nothing more than a real coincidence because they named all their other Nexus devices that came out around the same time based on their size. The Nexus 7, the Nexus 10. We've got 2 Nexus 7s now. It's not like they called one the Nexus 8.
Although they might soon.
Yeah, I know. If you listen to their rumors, there's going to be one of those Nexus 8s.
Yeah, that's a good point. But if they have a Nexus 8, it's probably going to have an 8-inch screen. I mean, we're talking about the same thing, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to Google I/O because, well, that's where we find out about things like Nexus 8s, and we've got a schedule for it. It's live, and there's a lot to be read into it. I don't know if Cam's going to do any of that, but I'm going to give him a shot.
No, I'm not going to do any of that. You can go look and see what's up with the 2-day schedule if you want to. Although there is a what's new in Android session, so that basically confirms. Well, I don't want to say confirms. That basically heavily hints at a new version of Android being announced at I/O. So it's lots of good dev stuff though. I mean, obviously it's a dev event, so lots of good stuff for Android Wear. Android camera APIs, Chromecast, lots of good stuff, so check that out if you're a developer and if you're heading to I/O.
All right.
Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about Google because they spent this week buying things, and by things I don't mean gadgets, gizmos, and the likes. They bought companies because that's what Google buys, companies. So to start off with, and what?
Cake. They buy cake.
They buy cake apparently. So
cake.
Starting off with an enterprise security company called Divide. So this is a company that Google bought up, a little bit of a startup that they just decided that they were going to acquire. And Liam, you have some thoughts as to what the purpose of that acquisition might be?
Yeah, so a couple months ago we saw a report from the information that said that Google was going to start pushing for enterprise adoption, specifically related to Android security. So something essentially like what Divide already does, where a person's normal personal data is separate from their corporate data, and the person who's administering the corporate deployed phones would be able to wipe the corporate data, and it's kind of managed separately. So that was one piece of their like security thing that they're supposed to be working on. So yeah, I wasn't really surprised to hear that they bought Divide. I mean, after knowing what Divide does, it seems to be like a perfect fit for that narrative.
Divide and conquer.
Yes. All right, so Google also purchased WordLens Maker Quest Visual. So if you're not familiar with WordLens, that's a program that allows you to hold your camera up to signs written in other languages and see them in your language.
And it's cool as heck.
It is cool as heck.
Yes.
It's exactly equally cool to heck. So Lima, what do we expect that Google has in mind for WordLens?
Well, we know what Google has in mind for WordLens because one of the I forget the person's position, but a Googler was talking about the acquisition and said that they would fit well with the Translate team. So WordLens is going to join Google Translate, and Google Translate already has kind of like a camera translate feature where you can kind of scrub over the words and it'll translate it, but this would obviously make it real time and probably open up a lot more languages too. So, and in the meantime, before that happens, all the language packs are free, so if you want to grab that, do it now.
I think this is a perfect pairing. I know I don't say much in the show, but I think really the Google Translate has the brand behind it to get this. I mean, this application has been out there as that people show off as a novelty, but don't really use in everyday life. But I don't know. I just really think that this is going to be a good acquisition and really propel WordLens and get into getting the credit it deserves.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, cool. So let's move on to Google Play Store policies. We've got a new one this week. I don't know. Do we know exactly how new this is, Ryan? But that's really awkwardly said. I'm not sure exactly how new it is, but we found it recently that there's apparently a way to get refunds from the App Store after the infamous 15-minute window that previously everyone was under the impression was all we had. So Ryan, what's new here?
Well, it's probably been happening for at least a few months, but Google never announced anything, and most people don't, venture into their order history that much to notice. But so what we do know is at least somewhere around the beginning of April, one blog posted that you could just go into your order history in the web Play Store and request a refund for an app or game that you bought more than 15 minutes ago. And unlike before, when it would send that request directly to the developer to be approved, Google was just refunding it automatically, all on its own, and the developer wasn't getting anything. So we started investigating to figure out if this was just a bug or a change in policy, and it actually took a long time to drag all of the details out of Google. I don't know why they were so reticent to discuss this, but so the way it works now is that oftentimes when you request a refund for an older app, it will just automatically be refunded by Google. They bear the full weight of the refund, unless it has been less than 48 hours. If it's been between 15 minutes and 48 hours, then the developer, does the refund normally, like if you had just refunded it in 15 minutes. But after that, it's all Google. So, I mean, this extends back, as far back as your Play Store history goes. So they said that there are mechanisms in place to prevent abuse of this system, but they declined to go into details about what exactly those mechanisms were and when they are willing to just automatically refund. But it seems like every time we tested it, they did a refund automatically. And we worked with Kush and Chris Lacey to see what they were getting on their end when we did app refunds, and they confirmed they weren't getting any notifications like they used to. So Google has changed this, and they're just not really publicizing it. But if you buy something and it's broken or ends up being abandoned or something, then you could probably successfully get a refund down the road.
Does anybody
I
else
just want to
think
point
the
out.
Mac-
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out it's pronounced Kosh.
Is it?
It
Okay.
is. It is Kosh.
Wow.
I actually learned that last year. I said Kush for like 4 years, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, you are
Okay,
wrong.
I will add that to my list of Oppo mistakes.
I was
Do
going to
that.
ask,
Yeah.
does anybody think that the mechanism to potentially thwart abuse is that Google will just stop doing it?
Like for everybody,
When it gets
or
abused?
I'm wondering if
what I mean
there's...
is, it's not advertised right now, so probably what will happen is that people aren't really taking advantage of it. Oh God, we have a horrible delay. I have to stop. Hold on. Piss.
Yeah, just all of a sudden we had a 3-second delay on all the audio, and it's really, really bad. So
I think it's okay now.
yeah, it seems like it's
okay.
better.
Well, let me just address what I think you're getting at. I think Google is doing this because it's just easier this way. I mean, if something happens with an app and people start refunding it, if a developer just kind of isn't paying attention anymore or doesn't want to offer refunds, then those people are going to come after Google. And even if Google doesn't do anything about it, that's still time and money that they have to spend supporting those users. So if it's cheaper for them to just hand over whatever
No, I
99
understand that.
cents,
I guess I understand that. What I was trying to say is, Google said they have mechanisms in place to protect abuse. And do we really think that they do, or will they just stop doing this if it starts getting abused?
I think
I guess. Oh no, go ahead, Liam.
I mean, I don't think that we tested it to this extent, but I would guess that they have maybe a limit where you request so many things, and then eventually it's like, hey, you've been doing this a lot lately. Like, maybe you don't get this.
I imagine it's probably something like that. It probably just defaults to the old behavior after, if you've refunded 4 apps in an hour, then they're probably like, maybe this isn't good.
Okay.
I hope Clippy pops up and tells you, hey, I see you've been requesting a lot of refunds lately.
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome. All right, so Google filed a patent claim this week. Not a patent claim. They filed for a patent this week regarding a new laptop that has a phone integrated into it, and it's very, 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 very Asus-like. Yeah, I don't know. This is obviously there's patents that get thrown around that never become products. So, Liam, do you think this is something we'll ever see come out of Google?
It's a turducken. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see this actual product come out, but I think that eventually we'll see something that would be applicable to this product, like Chrome and Android coming together. I don't know if we'll see that on an actual laptop with a phone in it from Google, but it's interesting to see that it's at least something they're thinking about making.
I do want to say for the record that this is more like a turken because they totally skipped the duck.
Yeah, that's true. Or a turduck.
Well, no, the turduck would be like the
Turkey with the
Asus
duck,
Pad
right?
Phone 2, which didn't have the one of them
Well,
didn't
no,
have
because
a laptop.
the phone is the chicken, right? And the tablet is the duck, and the computer is the turkey.
So wait, so what is the original Atrix then?
That is a turken.
Okay, good. I'm
I think
happy that we have terminology for this now.
And it's not a chicken. It's a game hen, isn't it?
He's Cornish game.
We have a very
Cornish game.
sophisticated nomenclature for these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's
Based
very
on
important we get it
culture,
right
because of
because
course.
the listeners need to understand. Like, if we say that it's a turduck and it doesn't have a tablet, then people are going to be confused and they're not going to
That's
trust
true.
us to give them this type of information anymore.
It's the turken.
So it's very important we bring it correct.
Is there anything in Project Terra that would help realize a device like this?
Maybe. I don't know if I can. I know earlier I took a solid pledge to not to not start any more fights about what Hera is, but
So the short answer is no.
yeah, I don't know if I can really speak to that, but maybe.
Well, alrighty then. Is it Project Hera or is it just Hera?
I don't know. I just like to say project.
Well, it's a project and it's called Hera, so.
Because I thought you were talking about Project Aura, and I was confused.
I was probably thinking of that cadence in my head when I said Project Hera.
And immediately I thought, hey, that's actually kind of a good thought, because there was that whole story about Toshiba making chips for it, and that they said they might be making it for things other than phones at some point too. And I thought you tied it all together when really it was just a
chance coincidence.
I didn't even realize Toshiba made chips.
Yes.
The Toshiba Fiesta Bowl?
Toshiba chips.
That's
Tostitos.
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 Yeah. I know. That was a joke.
All right, so we do have a big update this week in the land of Google app updates, and it's Google Plus. We saw a new UI and a new version of it roll out recently in the leak form, but we're seeing a lot, if not all of that stuff now in the newest version, 4.4, which is available on the website for download. So Ryan, what's new with the new Google Plus?
All of the things. All of the things are new. The interface is completely different. There's no more slide-out navigation bar. It's all like the action bar is red. It has this new little like drop-down navigation thing. It's kind of odd, and it has the floating compose button, which we've seen in a couple of leaks. Awesome. So I guess that lends credence to those things. But they got rid of that horrendous bottom bar with like the post stuff and like the mood thing. Can you still add moods in the new app?
Yeah,
I hope not.
Oh, it's when you go to create a new post, it's like part of the little card you can flick up, and it's like a little smiley face.
That was stupid in the first place. At least it's not like right in your face all the time.
It's such a limited selection is my problem.
Yeah, so what if I'm feeling moderately concerned? There's not a smiley face for that.
My moods are very complex.
Yeah, but so the app looks quite a bit different. And they fixed up the location section a little bit, so if somebody is sharing their location with you, you can jump directly into turn-by-turn nav to get to wherever they are, which is neat, but it's kind of hard to find. So we actually have a whole post just about that. But I mean, I think it's overall a pretty neat update. I'm not really sold on the lack of a navigation slide out, just because Google has been doing that in all their apps, and now it's just not here.
Can I have an unpopular opinion real quick and say that I'm actually a fan of ditching the hamburger menu? I think that the problem is with this update is that Google pushed out the Google Plus update too soon. Like, it's public too early, so people are freaking out because they don't get what's happening when the other apps are going to look like this too once they finally launch. But they ditched the hamburger menu in Google Plus in order to kind of break out the functionality into more like contextually specific places, so like the places that so that it's not just like hanging out over there altogether all the time. Like the options appear in places where they make sense to appear. I think that's what they're going for. I mean, that's just my guess. I think that the hamburger menu is not gone for good though. Like I think apps will still have it.
Well, the thing is, like with this app, they still have a lot of that same stuff, just in that little extra drop-down bar thing that hovers underneath the action bar.
That's true. It is organized differently, though. There's different priority given to different functionality.
Yeah, I mean, and I would be fine with something like that. It's just I would prefer there to be like a place I can go that has all of the locations in the app. It's like a table of contents in a book, like. Yeah, it just feels very odd to me to like break all that stuff out and put it in different places, even if like that makes sense as you're using the app. I mean, they can't necessarily know how everybody's going to think when they're digging through Google Plus. But I mean,
they're trying to like be designers about it and make it make sense and be good and tell people that it's good, even though everybody's used to the hamburger menu, so everybody's freaking out. But I think, I mean, in the Gmail leak that we saw on Geek.com, that still has a sidebar because it pretty much has to.
Yeah, I'm still not super sold on that being the real Gmail app, though.
Well, we will find out soon.
Yeah, I mean, even with like the no hamburger menu thing, it's still a much better app than it was.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thrilled about the floating compose button.
Yeah,
I want that to be everywhere because
way better. Yeah,
it's just so good.
Yes, and the and it has should probably mention, it has auto awesome stories, which are very cool. It automatically generates these like picture book things from your backed up photos, and I think it's interesting because so I have, like I think most people, I have locations turned off on my actual pictures, but then it still knows where the pictures were taken within Google Plus because it knows where I was physically at the time. So like I can share these pictures and not have my location attached to them, but it can still do these really cool location-aware slideshows that that they added this time. So I don't know, it's neat. It's a very clever way to do it, and I found them to be pretty accurate.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. I've got it pulled up now. I don't know if everybody can see it.
Yeah,
they can.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Everyone.
But it has this kind of like cool little slidey. Everything slides around and is very like photo oriented, very visual. You can add captions if you want. I just like how it kind of. I mean, it's like when people used to make scrapbooks or like photo albums. Like this is that, but you don't have to do any of the work. There's a computer somewhere doing it all for you, which is excellent.
Truly, this is the future.
It is. I mean, it's seriously, it's one of those things where I'm like, that's kind of magical. Like, that's actually something that's like so complex and amazing that I don't understand it, and I'm therefore willing to ascribe magic as the cause.
Yeah, when we get to the point where the robots can do our scrapbooking for us, you know that the singularity is very close.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no like pinking sheer edges or any like word art here, so that's probably a feature coming down the road.
Yeah, can you like hot glue ribbons to it, or?
I would love that. Or like
you
paste pins and, like...
but they technically stay on there even after you close the window.
Okay, well then that's not very useful.
Yeah.
You know what I really like about this? I'm digging the non-linear movement. You know, it's just not left to right or up to down. It kind of takes you on a journey through exploring these things. It's pretty cool.
It feels super immersive. Like it's a nice way to kind of look back, and it picks out all the best photos for you. So it like decides which ones are the best. And I guess I could stop screen sharing now, maybe.
I did.
Maybe you can.
I'm all on top of that, Liam.
Oh.
Now, it appears as though there's a little bit of a hiccup with sharing it on the site, apparently, because Liam wanted me to show that off during the show, but every time he shared it to me, it took me to my own story. And it's like, you know what, I know my own story. I was there when it happened. So.
And Matt's story is so much not...
My story is my son searching for Easter eggs, and, well...
He found them.
He found them.
How does it end? I have to know. That's good to know if you found them.
All right, so there was another update this week in Google Land. It was the Gmail app, not updated with the new UI that we saw at Geek.com, but instead it was rolling out a few new handy features and some UI tweaks. First of all, the pull to refresh animation is now multicolor like it is in the search app instead of the static blue that it was before. The settings, help, and feedback menu options have been moved from the overflow menu to the navigation drawer, and the profile switcher also in the nav drawer has added avatars, so you can quickly tell your accounts apart, and it looks nicer and fancier and all that. There are also some new graphics for empty search results, junk folders, and trash folders that just make it all seem even happier now that you don't have anything in there. But new features that were introduced also include the ability to natively print attachments, to view enlarged pictures from within your emails, and to receive the full text from truncated messages.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
Did you know that there was a timer built into the clock app in Android?
I did.
You know who didn't know that?
Who?
Google now. But now knows that there's a timer. And so when you use Google Now and you say set a timer for 4 minutes from now, instead of setting an alarm, which is not a timer, it will set the timer, which is a timer.
So you can set a timer for 6 minutes from now.
Well, you could set the 6-minute timer 6 minutes from now, or you could set now through now the timer for 6 minutes.
From now. Awesome.
It's true.
All right, let's move on to the hot sheet.
Okay.
All right, so starting things off with the hot sheet with the Asus Transformer TF103. We have specs, and unfortunately, Cameron's mom was unable to join us for the show tonight to talk about her feelings on it. So we're just going to have to settle for Liam's thoughts instead.
Yeah, so the Asus Transformer TF103 is a terrible device. It has...
And it should feel bad.
Yeah, it should. Asus should feel bad. I'm really honestly not sure like what the deal is here, but it has 1 gig of RAM, 16 gigabytes of storage. Okay, fine. 1280 by 800 resolution display. It has KitKat, so cool, but I mean, it's gross. I don't know who's gonna buy this, or how much it's gonna cost.
I think it's gonna be like free, and they're gonna actually like not sell it to anybody because
you know what? 280 euros in July in Europe.
It's actually going to be available for free. You just have to dig it up from the Arizona desert.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if it's
going
to be released in the U.S. I don't know. It's awfully. I don't understand why this even needs to exist. Like I don't get it. I don't understand.
Did they have like
anything
spare
about it.
parts lying around?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. My mom took one look at it and she was like, "What is this shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And she was like,
she was like 1280 by 800. What?
Yeah, I know. That was her exact words. I think
1080p.
I think her exact words were 1080p or get the fuck out. I'm almost positive that's what she said. I was like, I feel you, Mom.
Yes.
I know what you mean.
You feel your mom?
Did you fist bump? Is that what?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was it was like a bro moment.
I was about to say your mom sounds like quite the bro.
It was a bro moment. We had a bro moment.
Did you show it? Did you show it to her with a picture of a dog on it? That might have changed the way she felt about it.
He's not trying to pick up his mom. Don't even.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would have just been awkward. She would have looked at that and been like, I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. That's fucking weird.
She's like, I'm getting weirdly aroused, Cameron. Please quit showing me dog photos.
Even if they are.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Oh, I am so glad you didn't hear the things I've been saying for the past 2 minutes.
Oh no, I've heard them. I've just been ignoring them. I didn't want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that I was listening.
Okay, good.
Okay, this section might be. You might want to make a note to like cut this out and also save it for the best of show at the end of the year. Just say it.
I don't think that's the best of anything. That's like Game of Thrones.
I feel like we actually just did that in a recent episode. Didn't we like cut out like one of the best moments of a show and just like, completely save it for the best of?
I downloaded. I don't remember what we were talking about. But
I think it might have been
completely cut out of the show.
I think it might have been the episode where Cameron was going to projectile vomit.
Yeah, was it? I thought that was still in there.
Well, I think that part was in there, but I think there were other choice bits that were removed.
Why didn't they make it into the final cut?
It was the hard G, soft G stuff that I took off with KZ and all that stuff.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So the listeners at home, they might have thought that Brian invented that whole concept, and were really confused by his voice.
Brian did invent hard G's and soft G's.
Brian invented.
Haven't you ever seen The Life of Brian?
That's a good point.
That's the climax of the movie when he figures out the hard G's and soft G's.
That's right.
All right, so T-Mobile has added a new tablet to their lineup, the Galaxy Tab 10.1 2014 edition. It's going to be available starting on June 4th for $99 down and $23 a month. That is a whopping $652 for those of you who don't want to do the math. But I guess on Verizon it's $700 off contract, so it's cheaper.
It is cheaper. Good math.
They also announced that they would be receiving the Gold Galaxy S5 starting on May 30th, but that excitement lost pretty much all of its luster whenever Samsung announced that everybody else was getting it that day too. So Samsung is going to be releasing the Galaxy S5 in gold on AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, and US Cellular on May 30th.
You know who else is getting the Galaxy S5? Boost Mobile, $5.99, and it's pretty cool. They've got $40 a month contracts with unlimited talk and text. Only 500 megabytes of data, though, so with a phone of that beefiness, you're probably going to need a little bit higher contract, but if Boost Mobile is your carrier of choice, you can now get the Galaxy S5, $599.99.
And despite being over 6 months old, AT&T has decided that May 23rd would be a great time to release the Galaxy S4 Mini in its stores. The release makes a little bit more sense when you consider that this phone will be the first AT&T handset to support Volt in its test rollout in the Midwest. The phone is going to sell for $49.99 with a 2-year agreement, or $14.24 with Next 18. That's the 18-month payment plan, or $18.50 with Next 12. Obviously, the 12-month pay plan.
The unlocked and developer editions of the HTC One, this is the M7, are now getting updated with Sense 6. So finally, if you have one of those devices, you're going to figure out that Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time. Oh, that's the Sixth Sense, not Sense 6. Dang it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Also, T-Mobile's HTC One M7 gets Sense 6, and the One M8 gets Extreme Power Saving Mode in a pair of software updates. So check your updates. It might be available for you now.
AT&T is pushing out an update to the LG Optimus G Pro to bring it up to speed with KitKat Android 4.4.2. The feature lists are pretty standard for KitKat. It's got printing support, full screen mode, improved performance, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that you already know about because you listen to the show.
Also, Android 4.4 update is rolling out to the Sony Xperia Z, ZL, ZR, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. That is a Cleveland joke. Also, the tablet.
The Sony Xperia ZZ Top.
In ZZ Top edition, complete with beard accessories.
And according to some folks over at the XDA forums, Dell seems to be pushing out an update to the Venue 8 and Venue 7 tablets that bring them up to Android 4.4.2. There doesn't appear to be anything special about this update, just the standard fare for KitKat, just like we talked about before. But, of course, being news from the XDA forums, of course, you should know it does break root. So
it does break root.
Root is broken.
And it breaks bread.
Is this the appropriate time for the Debbie Downer sound?
What?
Is this...
Beautiful.
I felt that was appropriate.
That was perfect.
It breaks Groot.
Is it really a product review?
There was one. It's gone.
No one wants to review any products, Matt, so let's wrap her up.
Well, we got voicemails.
Wrap her up like a mummy.
We got
do we want to do voicemails?
Yes.
Are we a fan of doing the voicemails today?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do we want to actually play them or just dramatically read them?
I say
no, let's play them so I know what they actually say before we start talking about them.
Yeah.
All right, where do they start? Oh, there we go.
At the beginning.
A very good place to start.
And
We're going to start
get
with the transcription of Brian's. Hey, Cameron, do you want to read one?
No, I don't have them open. I don't even know where they are.
All right. We're going to start with Brian.
Sorry.
Brian actually didn't even care if we read this or not, but we're going to read it anyway because sometimes transcription is fun. Hey guys, Brian again. Listen, I don't know that I really have a question I could probably shouldn't do in Deepa bringing in income of something, but it would just be sloth, so you know. I need to play this for the show tonight. However, I do have an idea. I'm forgetting what caller whose maybe has fatherless. I don't know, but who else when? If you'd like it to out there, that'd be able to call in, and you could pick your favorite. And whoever is chosen in your favorite to get played live on the air, forget plan on the air, and to, I don't even know where the hell I am anymore, and to get some kind of prize. Maybe do. Maybe do. That's funny. Hopefully credit or encourage you bunch be able to call in whoever you pick rather than their voicemail over the podcast. You would ask them to come on. Why on the show and pose a question and dialogue about their or something along those lines. Anyways, just brainstorming. Thought I'd pass along. Pick up the great work, you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
You really should
Pick up the great work.
We should grab some on the way home.
We should start
tonight.
picking up the great work.
That voicemail was totally
a gallon
sloth.
of the great work.
Oh my god.
See, let's play the actual voicemail because he had an interesting idea, which we probably maybe might think about doing.
Hey guys, it's Brian again. Listen, I don't know that I really have a question. I could probably sit here and beat my brain in and come up with something, but it would just be fluff. So, you don't need to play this for the show tonight. However, I did have an idea for getting more callers. Maybe you guys have thought of this, I don't know, but what if when you could like put out there that people could call in and you could pick your favorite, and whoever is chosen as your favorite could get played live on the air, or get played on the air and get some kind of prize, maybe Google Play credit. Or encourage a bunch of people to call in, and whoever you pick, rather than play their voicemail over the podcast, you would ask them to come on live on the show and pose their question and dialogue about it there. Or something along those lines. Anyways, just brainstorming, thought I'd pass it along. Keep up the great work, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks, Brian, for the voicemail. And I actually want to let you guys know we are seriously considering having another guest host slot open up. You guys sent in your voicemails as kind of audition tapes for the guest host about a little over a year ago, I think, when we first had Pam on. So I'd like to open that back up. So if you guys do want to send us a voicemail and as kind of an audition to be on the show, we won't necessarily play it. But just leave us, if you've got any Android background or why you would make an interesting guest, and we will seriously consider putting you on the show. And as far as prizes, being with these guys every week is prize enough. Don't you think, Cameron?
I completely agree. I completely agree.
But yeah, we might give you another prize. I can give you like Matt's old broken phone that he washed.
No,
We'll give away.
Aww.
Do you think we can get custom Android police slap bracelets? I think we should.
Oh my God! If we can't, I'm gonna be depressed. Holy shit! I need that.
If anybody out there has any connections that can help us manufacture Android Police slap bracelets, you get in touch.
Seriously,
I might actually be able to find
this. If you know somebody in the slap blade bracelet industry, hit us up.
It's probably a pretty small industry these days, but it's got to be somebody.
The slap
Believe me, if you can work that out.
I'm going to research this and come back next week with a proposal.
Oh my God, dude, I would wear the hell out of one of those. I mean, there would be absolutely zero hell left in it when I was done wearing it.
Our second voicemail came from our favorite towel rack. Hello, Kylie. This is I Want to Know What Your Listening Preference Is. Now almost podcast. They was into the room show you do. What do you listen to when you're not listening to your room shows? Hey, and what application do you use to listen to it? I would like to the DJ. Good night. He's a little.
We get the actual.
Piper was a little broken up this week. Let's listen to what the actual voicemail sounded like.
Hello, AP. This week, I want to know what your listening preference is. Now, most podcast hosts, they listen to their own show. What do you listen to when you're not listening to your own shows? And what application do you use to listen to it? I'm Piper the DJ. Good night.
Thank you, Piper the DJ. I want to start, and I just want to say that I listen to the sad, sad sounds of my sad, sad life all day long. I don't actually listen to any podcasts or any other people speaking or anything because it would bring me out of the funk, and I want to stay in the funk. So that's what I do. I listen to the funk.
I don't actually listen to our podcast, mostly because I participate in it, so I know what happened. On occasion, I will listen. I always listen to our best of shows, or if I'm on like a long ass road trip, I'm like, well, I might as well listen to the AP podcast. I have nothing better to do. But yeah, I don't actually listen to our own show. I don't listen to many podcasts. When I get a chance to, it's usually like This Week in Google or Twit, obviously This Week in Tech, or that. I don't know. I don't really listen to a whole lot of podcasts. Mostly just music for me.
See, I usually will scan our podcast just to like make sure I am caught up on the things that happened while I was not paying attention, because I kind of tune out a lot when I'm on the show. Sorry, what?
What?
But no. But when I listen to some other podcasts, I can't listen to them while I'm working, because if I have words coming at my ears while I'm writing, then I just can't. I get all screwed up and I can't be productive.
Yeah.
But
yep, same.
Let's see. I listened to Tom Merritt's new daily tech news show. I think that's a pretty cool little thing you can listen to. It not very long and get the gist of what's going on. I used to listen to Twit a lot, but I feel like it's such a long show. It's hard to make time to listen to like an hour and a half or 2 hour podcast. And then I listened to this show called Night Attack, it's sort of like. It spawned from a Twitch show called NSFW. It's sort of like a nerdy tech variety show for the internet. And then I listened to a couple of podcasts about skepticism, because I am a giant nerd and a skeptic. So I listened to like the Geologic podcast and the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, if anyone's familiar with those.
Explain.
Oh yeah, it is for what software? The software.
I use Pocket Casts now. I used to use Dogcatcher for a long time because it was it's like a really crazy powerful app, but it does things that I don't need anymore. I think Pocket Cast is just much more practical.
Yeah, Dogcatcher's.
I use Beyond Pod.
Yeah. Oh, also Pocket Cast has Chromecast support, which is really awesome. So I can cast a podcast to my.
Maybe I should look into that. Yeah.
So as far as podcasts, I listen to Freakonomics Radio, Alton Brown's podcast, and Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, which is one I actually just started listening to, but it's super nerdy, so that's a thing. But Dogcatcher is my player of choice.
I generally
I'm not gonna actually.
Oh,
go ahead.
I don't really listen to that many podcasts. I tune into Twit for a few shows like Tech News Today, All About Android, and This Week in Google, stuff like that. But honestly, I just usually pull it up on my computer and listen to it while I'm doing work. Other than that, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. And yeah, Tech News Today just switched to the new format recently. So as Wade County was bringing up in as many words.
Oh, I haven't listened to that in forever. What are they doing now that is different?
It's a lot shorter now, I think, and Mike Elgin is on there. He pretty much hosts the whole thing.
Yeah, I know that he replaced
lost every single person who was on the show.
Yeah, so it's basically just him and some guests most of the time.
Weird.
And as far as listening to this show, I actually don't listen to our show, mainly because I'm extremely self-conscious and hate the sound of my own voice when it's recorded.
I'm like that too.
Apparently, other people don't mind it nearly as much because we have people who listen to it. So.
I listen to our show 3 times a week. I listen to our show live as I'm editing, and then I also listen back to it after I edit, because sometimes when I edit, I'm drunk. I wasn't drunk last week, but I wasn't drunk last week. If you listen closely at the beginning of the show, I totally cut out what Matt was saying, so there's a big, long gap of dead silence. So if you hear big, long gaps of dead silence, I was either really drunk or really tired. Actually, I'm not really drunk. Usually just really tired.
Man, I used to hate the sound of my own voice, and then I guess doing this podcast, I really don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I don't particularly
You'd think I would have
love
gotten
it.
over it by now, but I haven't.
I listen to lots of podcasts, tons of podcasts that no one would be interested in. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up. There's no contest going on right now, but if you head on over to androidpolice.com/contest, you will have that confirmed for you. So you should do that. But anyways, there's things coming soon, eventually, at some point in the future that's not now, and also not forever from now. So check it out.
There's just a freaky black shadow that ran by the window that is right here. And
Ghost.
I am creeped out. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@everypolice.com. You can also call us at 530-HELLO-IP. That sounder is too loud and you can't hear a word I'm saying. Bye. Let me try it again.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call us at 530-HELLO-IP. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police. Go to Pods and Facebook.
That one was so much better.
It was so good. I was kind of hoping you would do your alien voice though, with the little like beam up noise.
It's time for the Rumor Roundup.
I love it.
Is that what you were? Is that to what you were referring?
That is exactly to what I was referring.
Awesome.
So
Well, thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Tom Merritt, just to point out, so after he left Twit, he's doing the Patreon thing now to support his podcast, and he makes $11,000 per month just for doing that one podcast through Patreon.
So I think I
God
might
bless him.
be in the wrong business.
Yeah. Apparently, well, if the business is being Tom Merritt, then yes, you are. I doubt that any of us could just show up on Patreon and be like, I would like $11,000 to do a podcast.
I think we could. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, I mean, getting fired from Twit was probably the best fucking thing that ever happened to him.
Probably.
Yeah. People glamorize what we actually do on the show. I am so poor, I've been using like broken earbuds for the past 2 months. Yay!
Brian is mentioning in the chat that he sent a text message, which he did, and it says, "Did think of one thing. Can Cameron's mom do a podcast review of how little she's impressed with the Asus TF-103?
Well, what do you say, Cam? Can that happen?
No. I'm going to go with no. My mom is no. I would not know.
Quarters into a hole in
If you could just get like an audio recording of your mom saying 1080p or get the fuck out and just play it on the podcast, I would just be forever
Please
grateful.
get that quickly and send it to me, and
Yes,
that will
please.
be.
We'll
that'll
put
be
that at the end
beginning
of our
the
theme
I'm
song.
gonna put it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we'll put it in every show.
I will do my best. I don't.
That'd
I
be an
can.
awkward conversation the next time you see your mom. So, Mom, can I ask you? Could you just swear into this microphone real quick?
Could you just
I need a soundbite.
I just need you to say what 1080p or get the fuck out. That's all. That's all I need. I don't know, man. That would be. I don't know. I don't think I could. No, I just don't think it could happen. I'll try though.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'll offer to like bake brownies or something, and that'll help.
Oh, do you bake your mom special brownies?
I'll make some special brownies, and then she won't care.
I bet she'd say whatever if you did that.
Maybe. She's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay. Okay.
So, are we gonna try to do have people do the chat questions, or are we gonna
Yeah.
or are we just gonna do voice?
Is
video
that something
stuff?
that we can turn on right now? Well, it's like part of the Hangout though, so I think they have to like go to Google Plus and like go to the Hangout. I just thought about that. I should,
Well,
I
people
should
can
maybe
have more than
not.
one tab open. At
I
a
think
time.
at some point maybe we should do like once. I don't want to say once a month, but maybe once every 3 months or something. We should do a special show with maybe not even like maybe a completely separate show with where we just do a Q&A for like an hour.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to turn on the Q&A on the Google Plus event page
Yeah, I
before.
just noticed.
That could be a cool thing. We could just
Yeah.
have like everybody pile in and just like answer questions for an hour.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. We kind of did something like that when the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 10 came out. We did something like that. We had just a short, it wasn't even necessarily a podcast. We just did a hangout with me, David, and Ron. And I had the Nexus 10, Ron had the Nexus 4, and David moderated questions from the chat room, and we answered. It was pretty cool.
I thought you were gonna say, and David had the opinions.
I like
And
Mullen's-
David had the opinions. And David,
Mullen's
he
idea in
was-
the chat room is for everyone to get their significant other with them on camera and just watch their hilarious discomfort for the whole show.
What if we
my
don't have
God.
a significant other? Where's the
My-
Debbie Downer?
My wife would be
You can put a mirror.
super awkward. How about that? It would be fantastic. I love when my wife gets really awkward.
I could honestly say that there is no way in hell I could get my wife to agree to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
pretty sure my wife would decline as well.
Is there a
I
way that
would
you
think
can hook me
my
up
wife would decline as well.
with a Debbie Downer sounder button?
Sorry,
Like
what?
that I could just press, it will. Like if I say something really crappy, I can just press it myself.
Yeah, I'll try to secure the Debbie Downer sounder for next
Yeah.
week.
You need to map the Debbie Downer sounder to like your, I don't know.
Caps lock key.
I need to program my camera to like zoom in too, so it's like authentic to the
I
show.
don't use the caps lock key.
No, well, you should
that would
start.
be a good way-
You clearly don't know how to internet.
Yes, I do. Shift, shift, shift. All right, gents. Any parting words?
I have to be.
No, I think we pretty well covered it. Except I want Cameron to get his mom to make a recording for our show.
I'll do my best. I promise I will try.
Just have her drink lots of wine and then call the voicemail. We don't care what she says.
I then draw a picture based on the recording of what I think your mom looks like.
Liam will draw a picture, and that will be the album art on SoundCloud next week.
Or we could just have the listeners could just start calling into the voicemail and imitating Cameron's mom. That would be fun.
Ooh, that's actually. There's another good idea. We could have the listeners draw album art and submit it to us, and we could put winning album art as our on SoundCloud or on the podcast.
We need new album art.
We don't.
Hey, my
need
album
it,
art is
but
a winner.
Your album art is awesome, Liam. But we want 1,400 by 14. No, we want like hand drawn. We want everyone to draw with the hand opposite of the one that you use every day.
That sounds like fun.
And it has to be a kangaroo riding a unicycle.
In Spanish.
And then put it on the Motorola 360 and upload it to Google+.
But in the kangaroo's pouch has to be a little Android guy.
And there needs to be a text bubble above their head that says, "I monkey pork choppy McMoots."
What?
Can the androids right eye?
Wait. Can we just let's clarify this? So it has to be a hand-drawn picture of a kangaroo. What was it?
Riding a unicycle.
Riding a unicycle, and in the pouch is an Andy logo, with a word bubble above its head that says,
"I monkey pork choppy McMoots." You have to watch Don Hertzfeld's Rejected.
And
I love that video.
as do I. Okay, so is that the whole thing, or was there another?
That's the whole thing.
Okay,
Wait,
so chat room.
I want
what
the
you
android
do.
guy
No,
to.
you have to do it with your offhand.
I always do it with my offhand.
Wait, does Liam have something to add to the design?
Yes, I do. I want the right eye of the android guy to be a drawing of my face.
Okay. Wow. Narcissistic much?
It's not narcissistic at all.
Would it be our right or their right?
The right eye
it's
of
right.
the Android guy.
The right eye. Just
His right
whichever
eye.
one
So
you
his
think
right.
is the right one. That's which one you
Okay,
do.
so chat room, start drawing.
Start
Send
your
us-
engine.
Send us
Start
them
drawing.
sketches. Those
And
madness.
did you tell them they have to draw it with the hand opposite of the hand they use every day?
Yes.
Can we?
Things
Is there a way
stipulated.
that we can like post the rules to this? Like, can we make like a doc or something that we share?
I don't even know if we do a podcast post anymore, but that would be the place to do it.
Okay.
Just
Well,
put
I'm
a,
gonna
just put a,
I'm
a
gonna-
link to the rules at the bottom of the podcast.
Liam, write them up, and then I'll put them in the show notes.
Okay, I'm gonna go in Google Keep right now and type myself a little keep note.
You keep that.
If I mean, and I'm not promising anything, but anybody that actually does this, you get bonus points for the possible guest spot. Just
We're
saying.
gonna be friends.
Yeah, we will like you.
Yeah, I mean, except for me, I probably won't like you.
Well,
It depends
doesn't
on
like
how
anybody.
you draw my face, though. If it's ugly, I'm not gonna like
Yeah,
you.
if it's not flattering.
Let's just throw
Yeah.
this out there. The chat bubble is optional.
If
I'm
there's
going to throw that out there because
if you don't get Liam's hair perfect, then just don't even bother submitting. Honestly,
They're doing it with their offhand. They're allowed to get the hair not perfect.
no, a lot of pressure on this.
That's the idea.
No, well,
I know.
and we'll know.
Guy, he could probably.
We'll know if you
We'll
cheat.
know. Well, what if
you
somebody's
cheat-
ambidextrous though?
Hey,
Well,
so
they don't get to enter.
Ooh, burn.
Bob, can you spell out for me what the word bubble is supposed to say?
That's why I just said the word bubble is optional, because I have
You could
no
just
idea.
take it. You probably
how
take
to
a
say it.
guess.
Yeah, just
I think it is this. Here, let me
it's-
write it in the chat.
E, the letter
I'll just copy and
E,
paste.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd
E,
actually like, spell it.
monkey,
pork
pork,
choppy,
choppy,
Mick Moots.
moods. Like this. E, monkey, pork, choppy,
McMoots.
McMoots.
Good. I'm copying and pasting this. This is gonna be great.
This is fun.
My anus is bleeding.
what the hell?
You monkey pork choppy
Okay,
McMoots.
seriously.
You have to watch
Okay,
Rejected.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah,
You know what? I should just put it.
Anyone
in
who
the,
hasn't seen Rejected should watch it. It's a very amusing, whatever, 10
I'm
minutes.
not gonna
Yes.
put it on here.
It is the best 10 minutes of animation you will ever see.
Literally
Until you
ever.
see ones that are better. Matt Smith has added the YouTube. Oh, share it to the chat room.
Well, I'm trying to.
Can we watch it?
I don't know how to look for things on it. It's like, oh, you've got YouTube open, but there's no way.
Can
for
you
to
share
actually-
YouTube videos through a Hangout?
You can.
Wow. It's crazy.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah, when Hangouts works, it does a lot of cool stuff.
Which is, like, maybe sometimes kinda.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these insanity sketches.
If somebody
I just
actually
remembered-
animates it in Flash 4, I will love you forever.
Wait, Flash 4 specifically?
Any
bothers
version
me.
of Flash 4 or earlier.
If they send it to us in the form of,
Any version of Flash 4 will work.
if they send it as a video file encoded with real media, then that's
Oh,
best.
that would get double bonus points.
Yeah, send us a real media file, please.
You
And
can
if
use
the
After
kangaroo
Effects.
looks
that
like
will
the
make a
style
video.
of the Quiznos guys, that would be great.
Ooh, yeah, the really creepy, scary, terrifying.
The creepy
Giant
Quiznos
eyes.
characters.
What were those
That'd be-
called?
What are they? I don't know. They have weird names.
Speaking of nightmarish
forget-
mascots, have you guys seen the new McDonald's thing?
No, I haven't looked yet. Is it? It's
His
horrifying.
name is Happy, and he's an anthropomorphic Happy Meal box with these like freaky eyes and this huge mouth with all these teeth.
Wait, are the teeth sharp?
No, they're like flat, like herbivore teeth, but they,
Oh, well, it's good to know he's a plant-eating box.
yeah, but
Sponge
he's so
monkeys.
scary.
Yeah,
His mouth is
sponge monkeys,
huge.
that's what they're called.
His
Yeah.
eyes look like I don't even know. Like I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. Does anybody remember the Scrubbing Bubbles commercials? Because it's like those, but two of them. And terrible.
Wait. They get extra bonus points if we either get slash dotted or dug. Or digged.
Oh,
Sponge
It's-
monkeys, says
I
L
just-
Daddy.
I just did a Google image search, and that's disturbing.
Weird, right?
Big
And there's-
he's got a
If you could share the
cavernous
rules
mouth with all
via
these like.
Google Buzz, then you
He's
get
going to devour
triple
your
bonus
children.
points.
Yeah, the teeth are way too big. I mean, the scale of this thing's mouth relative to its body, it's you
Its
know.
eyes are also
disturbing.
like
These frog-like little globes glued onto the
Thank you,
top of its
Daddy.
head.
that's exactly it's like snow globes
And
glued
it's-
onto the top of his head.
and it's just it's very awkward, and there's something wrong with his arms. He appears to have no joints. He just
Yeah,
sort
they're
of
like rubber hose, like 1940s animation.
What are we? I have no idea what you guys are even talking about.
the new
talking about
McDonald's
The
mascot. is
scariest
a-
mascot in the
it's
universe.
It's a Happy Meal box, but it's got a
Post
face.
a picture in the chat. I want to
Its
see
name
this.
is Happy, and it's supposed to teach children to eat healthy by freaking the shit out of them.
And destroying their appetite.
You'll never
Like
want to eat
terror.
again.
Like they'll be so upset they won't want to eat anymore. Although, like, if it's like, yeah, we'll teach them to avoid Happy Meals because Happy Meals are scary as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Unhappy meal.
Yeah.
Holy ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
It's especially disturbing with the one with his. They have one with his tongue sticking out, and it makes me think that.
Well,
I like the one where he's rapping.
I personally like the one where it's a surprise party and he looks like he's gonna barf.
He ate too many Happy Meals, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he ate so many Happy Meals he turned
That's
into
the
one.
lesson.
He's like, hey,
You are what you eat. Now, that's the secret, the subtext. You are what you eat, and this is a little boy who ate too many Happy Meals, and now he turned into a Happy Meal. You don't want that to happen to
he's
you.
cutting himself.
Wait a second.
He's a cutter.
He's a cutter.
Is this real?
What? Which one?
Okay, apparently there are two pictures of Happy that were in France that never made them out, of him with an Indian chief headdress on, riding like a rocking horse, and then another one with like a Pocahontas
Click that one on the far
headband,
left, Matt.
I do see those in Google.
using his braided hair as a bow. Is this
wow,
real?
yeah, that's nice. I hope it is, but that obviously is a cultural mistake.
That's
Yeah.
so French.
Well, I can see why they didn't come over to France, or come over from France. But this is the same company that had Mayor McCheese, so that's worth thinking about.
So, like, are all of the other characters, are they dead now? They've finished with Ronald McDonald?
No, I think he's still there, but he's like getting a makeover. Like he's gonna have a new outfit and stuff. You know what bothers me is that part of the branding for this is that there's like multiple Happies and they're screaming. Like that's a possibility. It's not just one.
Are there going to be like weird commercials with this, or?
I feel like they're trying to be Minions. Is exactly what they're trying to do.
You know what? You're exactly right. That's a good point.
Oh yeah, here's one where he's got his mouth all stretched out to make it look even more freakish and disturbing. The mouth actually, if you look, the mouth extends all the way to the edge of the box. He could bite your head clean off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a Happy Meal box is pretty much the size of a head, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Thanks, guys.
You know, when you think about it, I mean, if he is, like, real, like, if he's completely anthropomorphized, there is a skull inside that box.
Can't we just have, like, the, that commercial that went around on YouTube from Japan where it's the girl dressed up as Ronald McDonald? Can't we just have, like, sexy hamburger commercials?
That would be a good way
I
to sell
like sexy hamburger commercials.
Oh, here's one where he's cut himself in half like a magician.
Yeah, they used to have McDonald Land and stuff. They've always been weird. If you actually look at the original Ronald McDonald, it was Willard Scott, and he has like a milkshake cup on his nose, and it's like freaky. Look up Willard Scott as Ronald McDonald on YouTube, and the original Ronald McDonald.
I want to.
Seriously, his costume is like made out of milkshake containers.
He looks like a homeless man who assembled trash to keep himself warm at night.
Have you guys not seen this before?
No,
I've seen it.
Assembled trash.
Yeah, Willard Scott was the original Ronald McDonald, and he was probably the scariest clown I've ever seen.
He was the original upcycler. He used found objects to construct new garments. It's green.
You learned something new on the Android Police podcast. I probably should end this broadcast. we are learning fun stuff tonight.
Yeah, the live listeners have gotten all sorts of just great information about
Scuttlefield
McDonald's
posted the
mascots.
makeover. I think that's legit. That's the actual Ronald McDonald makeover.
Okay, that is legit. Speaking of Ronald McDonald, I'm gonna go eat non-McDonald's.
God, I was gonna say that's not eating. That's like hurting yourself.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm gonna depart as
man.
well, but just get them rules up for the chat room so they can give us just awesome sketches.
Yeah, I'm out. Peace.
All right, later.
Lesson to be learned here: eat Subway.
See you guys.
I
Pleasant
love
dreams.
that picture. That Ronald McDonald makeover picture is good. You get fries and a shake. I'm Willard Scott. I'm wearing a cup on my nose, and I'm shaking my own hand. And then I'm prancing off like a dipshit. I probably should... Oh, everybody left. I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Yeah.